My name is Sahil Modi, and as you can see, or rather hear, I am doing a podcast. I chose to do a podcast because of the technology required. All it requires is a microphone, which the iPads have, and also my laptop has it too. At school, I can write the script using Google Drive, and I will come home and use my built-in microphone with Windows 8 Sound Recorder to record my voice and put it together using a sound splicing program called Audacity. According to CNET, in a review published around 2010, Audacity is feature-rich and flexible. The animal of my choice is a liger, Panthera leo by Panthera tigris. Ligers are part of the family Felidae, which includes all cats, including house cats. Here is some background information for the liger. It is the offspring of a male lion and a female tiger, so it's a hybrid. It is currently domesticated because lions and tigers don't cross paths in the wild. There are rumors of ligers existing thousands of years ago when lions and tigers both lived in the Gir forests in India. There was one liger in the world in 1972, but now there are over 100 ligers in the world. Fun fact, the liger is the largest cat in the world. It can weigh more than 1,000 pounds and can be more than 12 feet long. Think about it. A liger can dunk a basketball standing on its hind legs. There is one big implication to ligers, and most other hybrids. The males are sterile. Ligers are only able to be bred because lions and tigers both come from the same family, Panthera. This shows that lions and tigers shared a common ancestor in which they diverged from. Finally, two of the diverged branches converged to form the liger, but the ligers are sterile. Why? This is due to the number of chromosomes during meiosis in the liger. According to Kaylee Bishop, 2011, a freshman at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, lions and tigers shared a common ancestor, and they diverged 5 million years ago, giving enough time to let them evolve enough to change their genetic coding. Also, modern-day tigers appeared long before modern-day lions appeared. Ligers have immense physiology. They weigh more than their parents, they are taller, and they can also run faster. Ligers can eat up to 100 pounds of meat each day. That means they're getting more than 90 pounds of protein. Protein is a macromolecule that promotes muscle growth and helps repair wounds. Ligers can sprint at speeds of up to 50 miles per hour, whereas tigers and lions can sprint only 40 miles per hour. Proteins are made up of CHON, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. According to the American Journal of Physiology, Endocrinology, and Metabolism, proteins help gain muscle by increasing the activation of muscle proteins, building more muscle mass. This is called mTOR signaling. However, there's a downside to all this eating: obesity. Since a liger can consume 100 pounds of meat in one sitting, it is gaining a lot of calories. According to National Geographic 2010, a tiger and a lion can eat about 80 pounds of meat in one sitting, but they can burn it off when they are hunting. And they also can go weeks without another kill, whereas ligers are always guaranteed food on a regular basis. First, an organism converts food into glucose. Chewing the food and digesting it helps separate the glucose from waste material. From there, the glucose is transformed into adenosine triphosphate by the electron transport chain. However, a liger does not use all of this stored energy, thus the ATP is stored as lipids. There are about 1.5 ATP molecules in a gram of fat, whereas the energy ratio of 1 gram of fat to carbohydrates is 2.3. Biochemical Education 2011. Thus, a liger stores much of its energy as fat because its parents also do that to save energy. Even though ligers aren't found in the wild, they would be considered tertiary consumers because of their carnivorous diet and massive strength inherited from its parents. Speaking of heredity, the liger inherits the physiology as well as the psychology of its parents. A liger can swim in water just like a tiger, but socializes with other ligers like a lion. According to National Geographic 2010, scientists have conducted studies to show that a liger can change its roar to sound just like a lion or a tiger. But how is this possible? All organisms have a genetic code that guides cell reproduction, hair color, and many more traits. It is called deoxyribonucleic acid, also known as DNA. Within DNA, there's adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine, and their order determines one's traits. Also, genes from your parents impact this order. Sperm and egg cells are gametes, making them haploid. According to Stajiro Makino, an author of an atlas of the chromosome numbers in animals, tigers and lions both have a diploid chromosome number of 38. It is a misconception that ligers are sterile because they have an odd number of chromosomes. The females can actually reproduce. Male ligers cannot reproduce because of incompatibility issues. For example, scientists have found 2 genes in a mule that contradict each other. Thus, as genes evolved in its own species, it began to code for proteins that no longer worked in other species. So when the 2 species converge, the code conflicts. Normally in a human, when meiosis occurs, it results into 4 gametes, but in a male liger, gametes cannot form. According to Dr. Scholes, a graduate student with a PhD in genetics, what usually causes sterility in mammal hybrid crosses is that the chromosomes do not pair evenly during meiosis or during gamete formation. There is a stage during meiosis that has to occur called crossing over, also known as prophase 1, which cannot occur if chromosomes are different sizes and/or shapes. During the first stage of meiosis, the two sets of chromosomes double so that there are 4 copies of each chromosome. The 4 chromatids align in a homologous pair. The actual exchange of genetic material occurs at this point. If this does not occur, then the cell does not divide and the sperm is sterile. If this always happens because the chromosomes do not align, then the liger is sterile. Moreover, if the chromosomes each contain the same genetic material, but it is rearranged, then unequal crossing over can occur and result in duplications or deletions of parts in chromosomes. And if a critical gene is deleted or duplicated, the liger may not live very long and is especially prone to disease such as cancer. This theory is backed by the great number of stillborn ligers that are born each year. But why are females fertile? In males, there is only one X, so it pairs with a Y in a small region. So the difference between a tiger X and a lion X would be pretty small, but the difference between a tiger Y and a lion Y would be pretty big. This is why a female liger with an X of each type is able to reproduce. As I mentioned earlier, ligers grow to enormous size, and this is entirely due to genomic imprinting. Imprinting generally emerges due to competition between the interests of males and females within a given species because of the complex social structures. What's good for the father may not be as good for the mother. Lionesses can mate with multiple males, so any given male has genes which tend to encourage growth in his cubs as to maximize his genes' share of finite resource in a competitive environment. In contrast, the female's genes tend to fight against this tendency because she's equally related to all the potential cubs, and so she wants to equally distribute resources as to maximize the number who might survive. Tigers are not affected by this problem because a tigress mates with only one male, so he is equally related to all the cubs. His genes would not want to encourage growth because there isn't competition between cubs, so the female does not need to evolve anti-growth imprinting defenses. Thus, when you breed a female tiger who has no defenses against the lion's genes that tend to encourage growth with a male lion who will contribute exactly those genes, you will get a liger that has enhanced growth because of the expression of the lion's growth genes. Genomic Imprinting 2010. Since a liger acts just like a tiger and a lion, it must share some of the same internals. A liger's physiology is similar to its parents and has homologous structures, including tiger stripes. Stripes are unique to each individual tiger and liger, just as fingerprints are unique to humans. However, a liger has fainter stripes compared to a tiger. These stripes are mainly used for camouflage. A tiger lives in northern Asia in tall grass. Tigers also have stripes on their face to reduce the sun's glare when hunting, just like linebackers in football have black stripes under their eyes. The stripes are caused by protein signaling to the morphogen gradient. Morphogens act like graded positional cues that control cell fate specification in many developing tissues. Morphogen gradient 2006. According to Life Science 2008, if a certain critical mass of protein is present, then a given physical feature, tiger stripes in this case, will appear. If less than that critical mass is present, a different structure, say the skin that surrounds the stripes, will appear, and a boundary will be formed between the two structures. Thus, tiger stripes are formed. Even though ligers are domesticated, they play an important role in the ecosystem, in our ecosystem. They have a mutualistic relationship with the top predator on the food chain, us. Humans provide nourishment and shelter to these animals, and in return, they earn humans money via carnivals, amusement parks, etc. In conclusion, ligers share many characteristics of the lion and tiger. They are the largest cat in the world due to gene imprinting and gene expression. They cannot breed due to complications during prophase 1 of meiosis. Overall, they shouldn't be considered as mutants, but rather be considered as an advancement in the study of genetics.